In ancient China, there was a secret so dark, so feared, that it was outlawed, buried, and almost erased from history. It starts with a jar. Not just any jar, but one filled with venomous creatures locked in a battle to the death. Scorpions, centipedes, snakes, spiders, all sealed in, with no escape. They fight. They kill. Only one survives. And that survivor becomes something else. A living curse. This is goo poison, a terrifying blend of black magic, folklore, and biological horror. And what you're about to hear is not fiction. It was feared enough to be banned by emperors and punished by death. So what exactly is goo poison? The word goo, written as shown, has appeared in Chinese texts for over 2,000 years, and it means poison or to bewitch. It shows up in oracle bone inscriptions from as early as the Shang dynasty, which ruled from 1600 to 1050 BC, and later in religious scriptures of Taoism as well as medical writings. In ancient Chinese, the character itself contains the radical for insect 3 times, surrounding a jar, a warning baked into the language. The process of creating goo poison was brutal. A practitioner, sometimes a shaman or sorcerer, would gather venomous creatures, snakes, centipedes, scorpions, spiders, frogs, and trap them in a sealed container. Over days or even weeks, they would fight for survival. The last one left alive wasn't seen as lucky. It was seen as cursed. It had absorbed the essence of all the others, their venom, their rage, their spiritual power. That creature, and sometimes the venom extracted from it, was now considered goo. It could be fed to a target, slipped into their home, buried under their bed, or even spiritually projected. It wasn't just a poison. It was a weapon of supernatural dread. What did the goo poison do? People cursed by goo reported symptoms that were terrifying and baffling. Victims might waste away with no explanation. Others experienced hallucinations, paranoia, or uncontrollable fear. Some were said to be plagued by insects crawling beneath their skin, even when doctors found no cause. Some goo caused swelling, vomiting, or sores that wouldn't heal. Others made people fall in love against their will, obsessed with the person who cursed them. In some regions, goo was even believed to enslave a person spiritually, turning them into a puppet for the poison's master. Worse still, goo wasn't always meant to kill quickly. It was slow, untraceable, and that made it the perfect tool for revenge, jealousy, or control. But goo wasn't just biological. It was deeply spiritual. In Chinese folklore and Taoist belief, goo was often described as a living curse, guided by intent and emotion. To some, the surviving insect was just a vessel. The real weapon was the hatred it carried. To treat goo poisoning, normal medicine often failed. Instead, shamans or Taoist priests would be called in. They performed rituals, burning talismans, chanting exorcisms, using charms and blessed water. Sometimes, victims were made to vomit out the curse, literally expelling snakes, worms, or black bile. These weren't metaphors. People claimed they saw it happen. To believers, goo was not just a poison. It was a conscious curse, born from pain and death, and loyal to the one who made it. Goo and ancient Chinese law. The fear of goo ran so deep that it influenced real Chinese law. During the Tang dynasty period from 618 to 907 AD, the use of goo was outlawed and considered a serious crime. People believed it could kill without a trace, manipulate others, or even destroy entire families. Accusations of goo use were taken seriously, sometimes fatally so. Punishments for using goo included exile, torture, and execution. In many cases, the accused were women, or members of southern ethnic minorities like the Miao, who were often scapegoated and stereotyped as sorcerers. The fear wasn't just about magic, it was about power, politics, and fear of the unknown. Villages developed their own rules. If you came from a goo region, people wouldn't let you near their homes. Some parents wouldn't let their children marry someone from the south. It became social poison too. Goo also appears in Chinese literature and ghost stories, especially during the Qing dynasty. In Strange Tales from a Chinese Studio, a classic collection of supernatural tales, there's a story of a scholar who rejects a woman's advances. Days later, he falls mysteriously ill. Nothing helps. A Taoist master eventually discovers a dead centipede sewn into the man's pillow. The woman had cursed him with goo, and it nearly killed him. Another tale tells of a merchant whose business rivals used goo to ruin him. He fell into madness and wasted away until a ritual forced him to vomit up a living snake. That snake was the goo, and only its removal saved him. Whether or not you believe these stories, they reflect how real and terrifying goo was to the people of the time. To this day, goo never fully disappeared. It just went underground and into pop culture. In Japan, manga series like Jigoku Sensei Nube and Pet Shop of Horrors feature characters cursed or born by goo. In rural areas of China and Southeast Asia, some people still believe goo is real. Some still refuse to talk about it. And some say, if you go looking for it, it might come looking for you. Maybe goo was never just about poison. Maybe it was about fear. The fear that someone, somewhere, hates you enough to lock death in a jar and send it your way. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to help me make more videos.